it's not often that a rival politician gets to introduce his double or his opposite number. What happened is, it's kind of a funny story. Some friends in the film industry, they forwarded the invitation to this fundraiser to Minister Kevin Kruger, the Minister for Tourism, Culture and the Arts. They sent him this note and said, you know, come to this event because you might learn something about supporting arts and culture. Which I thought was a little cheeky. You know, he is the minister, and you know, do you really want to piss him off? But I guess he got the invitation and was good enough to join us here tonight. Please, in the spirit of bipartisanship, reaching across the floor and all of that, please welcome the Minister for Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Kevin Kruger.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I actually have several important government announcements to make. And I believe that there are some people that are mingling in the other room, so if they want to join us, because I think this really is an important evening for some of the announcements that I'm going to make here, okay? And I say that in all sincerity, those of you in the back that are probably mingling. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to set the record straight. Being here tonight, I want to deal with the issues that you're addressing here tonight, because it's clear to me that you have the wrong address. My government, the Gordon Campbell government, believes strongly in the value of culture. In fact, next week our Premier, the Honourable Gordon Campbell, plans to break out his guitar and sing a Beatles tune with Stephen Harper and Yo-Yo Ma. We know that the arts are vital to the health, welfare, and vibrancy of our community. And that's why we feature your fro-fro, tutu, hoo-ha in all of our tourism ads. And initials. We all love initials. That is why it is my privilege to be here tonight on behalf of our beloved leader to speak to all of you former workers in BC's cultural sector, or as you're now known, future welfare recipients. Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I do feel it's time to set the record straight about gambling revenues. As most of you know, the BC government has historically believed that gambling is evil. And that's why when gambling was introduced in British Columbia, the money was earmarked to support arts, culture, and community services, like church bingos, which we're actually now taking over because we can really use that bingo money. The thing is, I think everybody here can agree that gambling is a serious social problem, and that it's wrong to profit from an enterprise that benefits from criminal activity, addiction, desperation, and stupidity. People used to call the lotteries a tax on the stupid. But that was before we found out that people selling lottery tickets were actually stealing all the winning numbers. So it's not just a tax on the stupid anymore. In this economy, it's the last desperate hope of the poor and the starving. Welfare moms are betting their children's lunch money on an inside straight. It's scandalous. And the higher the gambling limits get, and the more people are shot and stabbed outside of our casinos, the clearer it is that basically casino gambling in BC is just this side of being a criminal enterprise. Just which side of criminal, who knows? But the arts, you people who are creating beauty, joy, healing people's souls, doing God's work. Thank you. Thank you, all of you beautiful people, all of you soul healers. We really, really, truly do believe in you, and that's why we decided that we could no longer allow arts and culture to be burdened with the negative karma associated with taking money from criminals, addicts, and mouth-breathing morons. And we can no longer allow our proud arts and cultural enterprises to be tainted by laundering this blood money. You're welcome. Don't you feel better already, knowing that you're no longer basing your budget on some poor schmuck to lose their mortgage betting on the Canucks? Does anybody know what the score is tonight? For the Canucks? Who's your daddy? Yes, our government realized that while we feel really bad about accepting money from gambling addicts, drunks, and criminals, we don't feel nearly as bad about it as all of you do. Besides, with all of the social problems caused by gambling, not to mention the stabbings, shootings, and broken kneecaps in the casino parking lots, we need that money for health care. And that gets to the other issue. Most people are under the mistaken impression that the government can allocate a budget any way we want to. Not true. Not true at all. Yes, the provincial government funds highways, but that money comes from the Ministry of Highways. And yes, our government funds things like $600 million new route for BC Place, but that money comes from essential services. However, money for arts and culture is a very special kind of money. Money for arts and culture comes from a special fund that we in the government call God's work. Isn't that heartwarming? Isn't that the most heartwarming thing you can think of, because that means that every single dollar spent on an art gallery is a dollar that is not spent on feeding a starving child. Do you know why BC has the highest child poverty rate in Canada? You. It's your fault. The Vancouver Art Gallery and Buschlen Mowatt are forcing our children to starve. Do you know why your buddy's grandpa died while waiting for his triple bypass? Because every penny spent on supporting the opera is taken directly from the dying grandpa fund. It's true. We have no choice. Now, I know that most of you people don't realize how budgets work. But when you're in government, you're faced with some pretty hard choices. The money spent on museums, widows and orphans. Money spent on music, taken directly from Puppies. You didn't even know that our government looked after puppies, did you? Well, we don't anymore. Because we spent all of the puppy money on the symphony. Every dollar spent on the theater taken directly from crippled children. Every production of A Christmas Carol actually forces us to steal a crutch from a real-life Tiny Tim. Excuse me. While we fully appreciate that every dollar spent on the arts actually generates over $1.30 in tax revenue, how is that money supposed to help starving babies and dying grandpas? That money you raise goes to pay for the Olympics. I realize that all of you here tonight feel the arts are important, even vital to the health of a community. As Joseph Goebbels once said, every time I hear the word culture, I reach for my revolver. Sorry, that was a speech for the Board of Trade. During World War II, Winston Churchill's finance minister said Britain should cut funding for the arts to support the war effort. Churchill's response, then what are we fighting for? To which the Gordon Campbell government proudly answers, fiscal responsibility. Thank you for the support. And that means we need everyone to do their part. And when our government looked around and tried to figure out which workers would continue doing their part, even if, they weren't paid, we saw you. Thank you. You are truly great British Columbians. If we stop paying doctors or teachers or ferry workers or, well, pretty much anyone else, they just quit. And that's why I'm here tonight to announce plans to offer you all a little more help in doing what you do. Some of you tonight believe we want this province to be full of starving artists. But that couldn't be more wrong, which is why we've diverted some money directly from the Premature Babies on Respirators Fund to a new program for artists. That's right, Campbell's Soup Kitchen. No, don't thank me. Thank you for continuing to do what you do, no matter how little money you make. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.